failed to mention, my name is Julianna Bevan, and my background is in the corporate world. So I worked for a company called Lloyd's TSB Insurance, and I was in that career for 9 years. The reason why I started my business is because I was in a tremendous amount of debt, and I was very, very unhappy in my corporate job. I wanted something where I could feel successful and happy. Although I got the success, I didn't quite get the happiness, so there was no balance. Great fortune came my way when somebody offered me an opportunity where I could earn an extra couple of £100 per month, and I jumped at it, and I suppose the rest is history. Although when I started my business, I didn't do anything very quickly. I was a bit of a slow burner. I've been part of Forever Living now for 8.5 years. I have to say they are the best 8.5 years I have ever spent in my life. Although some of them were actually quite challenging, I believe that the person that I've become today are from all of those challenges that I've had along the way. It took me 6 months to recruit my first person, and that person actually asked me to join my team, which is a little bit of the wrong way around. I was so shocked that she'd asked me to join my team, I didn't actually know what to do next. But actually, what happened was it was a good idea, well, great thing that she'd asked to join my team, because then I felt like I was a leader. So I had to step up to the plate. You see, because in the first 6 months that I started my business, although I thought about doing a lot of things and talked about doing a lot of things, I didn't actually get around to doing much. Anybody else feel like that? Yeah, lots of hands would go up. So there came a point where I had to start taking things seriously, and that's when I learnt the power of consistency. Consistency now is my best friend. I never did anything very quickly, but what I have been since that moment that I decided was I have been consistent year after year, month after month, day after day. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about, because we always talk about being persistent and consistent. Anybody say to you, give me your top tips? And that top tip is always, be persistent and be consistent. And then you kind of walk away and go, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't kind of really know what that means. Anybody else feel like that? So people used to say to me, be persistent, Jules, be consistent. But I didn't know where to start. So I'm hoping that today I can help you know where to start and talk you through the basics of what I put into practice in my business. See, from the moment that I decided to be consistent, I took my business from 19 case credits a month to 89 case credits per month in 3 months. I also then decided to be a bit more consistent, and I took my income from £800 to £6,000 per month in 6 months' time. So there is absolutely no difference to anybody in this room. You can do it too. The only difference is between the people that you maybe see go across this stage today to the people that don't, is that very important word which is called consistency. How do you all feel about consistency now? Can we give me a big whoop for consistency? That was actually quite good for your first whoop. We'll do it again though. Give me another whoop for consistency. Yes. Amazing. So let's get started. One of the most important things I learnt in my business was to do activity, but income generating activity. AKA not running around being a busy fool, doing nothing. If it's not on that list, it's not income generating activity. Somebody came to me once and they said, Jules, what was your activity for today? And I wasn't actually taking the business that seriously at the time. And I said, well, I've ordered my business cards. She said, have you given any out? I said, no, not yet. Anybody else done that? We've all done it. We've all been there. So for me, income generating activity is really important. I don't have to actually read all those out to you. I've put them on there. You can take a picture of it, and you can see that next to it I've marked what it actually is that you need to do in terms of activity alongside it. Now, the key is that not to just do one thing, you have to pick 3 forms of these activities at any one time and master them. All I've done over the last 6 years, when I became really super consistent, is I've used my who do you know list. But people say to me, but Jules, I've been in the business now for like 3 months and I've spoken to everybody that I know. I'm like, are you a diamond manager yet? No, well, you haven't spoken to everybody that you know yet, have you? Or go and meet more people. I'm literally, last week, I recruited somebody that I spoke to 6 years ago. I've also recruited somebody that I spoke to 2 weeks ago when she served me a nice cappuccino at Costa. So I'm always adding to my who do you know list. So if you feel as though your who do you know list has run dry, take a checkup from the neck up and go and find those people to add to your who do you know list, because that is one form of activity that I do not change. And I've used it from day dot. Well, that's such a lie. I didn't do anything for the first 6 months. But you know what I mean. When I decided to become consistent. At least I admit when I'm when I'm telling porkies. Carding. I always do carding. Carding is where I've got just little cards and I'll post them through people's letterboxes or hand them into people's hands. And that is 50 a day. I have to do 50 a day. My team will tell you, I do live videos into my team page, and me and Jakey B, and the sun's shining, he's in his little trike, and I'm posting them through the letterboxes. He absolutely loves it. He's quite cute. So people come out, and they ask me a little bit about him. I get into a conversation. And the other day, I was able to set up a one-to-one with somebody's granddaughter, because it wasn't for her, but it was for her granddaughter. So if you're not out and about, speaking to people, doing these things, you're not going to meet these people. So carding is another thing that I've done for 6 years. And also I use contact marketing, meeting people. You won't see me sat in the house building my business. I'd be sat in a coffee shop. I'm sat outside. If the sun's really nice, I do sit in my garden time to time, but that's after I've done all my contact marketing activity for the day. And I make sure that I get 15 a week. So it's so important that you are picking 3 to 4 forms of activity and you do them every single day forever. Don't stop. The temptation will be that you might recruit somebody and then you think, oh, I've made it now, like I did, and I had a little party and then I didn't do anything. You stop the momentum. You see, when you're in consistency, being consistent, and you're building the consistency, and that is happening over a period of time, what you actually create with that is momentum. And when you've got momentum in your business, it's really, really hard to stop it. It's like losing weight, isn't it? If you went to the gym once, you wouldn't expect to lose a stone. But if you went to the gym every day, 4 days a week, every single week, then you're going to start to see your body changing, aren't you? This is no different. You've got to know your stats. It is so important. I plan my business to a T. I know exactly how many people I want to recruit each month. So for that, I know exactly how many one-to-ones I need to have in the diary. I know exactly how many 5-minute links if I'm sending 5-minute links out to people. I know exactly how many people I need to get in front of because I work my stats. That activity tracker is in your first steps to manager. I highlight it. I've got every single person that I'm speaking to is on there, and if they're a yes, they're in yellow. If they're a not right now, they're in a blue, so that I know that I can follow up, hence why I've just recruited somebody that I've spoke to all those years ago. And if they're a no, I pop them in red. So what actually that tells me is that's how I know that at the moment, 1 in 4 one-to-ones will join my team. And I know that if I'm a little bit busy and I'm sending maybe out a 5-minute link, which isn't my preferred choice is to sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody, but if I am sending 5-minute links, the stats are quite shocking. It's 1 in 25 at the moment. Those stats change based on who I'm speaking to, when I'm speaking to them. I know that in the winter, my stats aren't as good as in the summer. I don't know why, but I know that I have to effectively plan my activity even more and do more in the winter to overcompensate. Do you know your stats? Because if you don't know your stats, that'll be one of the first things that I would really encourage you to go away and change today, because I promise you it makes such a difference. I like to recruit 2 to 3 people per month, so my stats are based around that. Your stats might be different. I'll help you out in the beginning stages of your business, and this is only if you're doing one-to-ones. 1 in 10 will join your team. But then it's up to you to keep an eye on those stats, so then you can plan your business effectively, and nothing is left to chance. Because what do they say? If you fail to plan, plan to fail. So there's your stats. So in your warm market are people that you know, 1 in 10 will join your team. If you don't know them, 1 in 20 will join your team. Like I said, yours might not, but mine do. My stats change depending on what time of year I'm working my business, and your stats will change depending on what form of activity that you do. Everybody's different. So when you're building the skills that you need to build is when your stats start to become better, which is why at the moment my one-to-ones are 1 in 4, but yours might be 1 in 10. But this is why I always encourage my team to pick 3 to 4 forms of activity and master them and be the best at all of them. I can literally prospect somebody in a queue, in a drive-through, wherever I am, with my eyes closed now, because I've mastered that time after time after time. And that's important, because then that will bring you confidence as well. So make sure that you know your stats. And then your pipeline. So your pipeline are all the different people that you're speaking to. And I look at it a little bit like a funnel. And when that funnel gets full, people will start popping through and joining your team. Now, at any one time, you want to be having 20 to 25 people in that pipeline at any one time for people to start popping through. So I'd kind of encourage you to sit down now and think about how many people have you got in your pipeline right this moment that you're speaking to about the opportunity. That are just waiting, or you need to answer some questions. You've had a one-to-one and they're deciding. How many people have you got in that pipeline? Because if you've got 20 to 25 people per week in that pipeline, you will recruit 3 to 5 people per month, based on my stats over the years. So, where do those 20 to 25 people come from, though? That was my big question. It's from getting to speak to 5 brand new people per day. That's it. When you break that down, and if you're speaking to 5 brand new people per day over a 7-day week, that's actually 35 people in your pipeline. But you're active. And then I might have the question of, but Jules, those 5 people a day, where do they come from? Well, they come from those income-generating activities that I showed you right at the beginning. And you do that consistent enough over a consistent period of time, you will then be in a habit. And it will feel so weird if you don't do it. I literally feel like if I haven't spoken to my 5 brand new people per day, I feel like, you know that feeling when you haven't brushed your teeth in the morning? I feel like that. Because it just feels so odd. My commitment to myself and my family to achieve what I've achieved, to go on to achieve what I want to achieve, is just 5 people per day. And do you know how mad that is? 5 people per day. That's our job role. That's all we do, is speak to 5 people per day. So if I said to you, listen guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pay you a 6-figure income. I'm going to take you on 2 different destinations every year and pay for them all, and a +1. I'm also going to give you money towards a car each month. Plus, on top of that, I'm going to give you a share of the company's profits. And all I need you to do is speak to 5 brand new people per day. Oh, what would you do? Let me tell you, these seats, it would be a stampede out there. Everybody, you'd speak to 10. No, you wouldn't. You'd speak to 20, just in case. Wouldn't you? We would. But why don't we do it now? Why? Because we can't see the results yet. You mark my words. I am living proof of just 5 brand new people per day. All of that does happen. It does. So although you don't see it for yourself right now, if you don't act upon it and speak to 5 brand new people per day, you are denying yourself of that life. Because over a consistent period of time, when the momentum kicks in and you're in the role and you're in the habit, that is all you need to speak to recruit 3 to 5 people per month. And that is a lovely number to work with, to teach, to mentor, and coach them through to success.